and then just speak for 1 second. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Nadine McCormick, communication, doing public information for Annapolis Remo. We are going to start as usual with Deputy Warden Dustin Enslow giving us an update, and then we'll move on to questioning. Deputy Warden, would you like to start?
Thank you. First, I just want to say good afternoon, everyone, and we appreciate the fact that you guys have been reaching out to us. And I know moving forward, hopefully the Monday, Wednesday, Friday briefings are going to work. And I do want to take this time to also thank the evacuees that are currently under evacuation. Thank you for your patience and understanding. I know it's a difficult situation, and you know, we're fortunate to be seeing that we've had quite a few good days. And I just want to, on behalf of the municipality, say thank you for continuing to work with us. We know it's a difficult time, and we will continue to be there for you and support you through this long process. So in regards to the fire status, the fire, of course, is still out of control. Fortunately, it's been staying around 84 to 8,500 hectares, so it works out to be about 85 square kilometers. There's been no new reports of damage in the past several days. The morale amongst the crew is actually very high because they're making a lot of progress, and I've even heard that there's some strong competitions amongst different crews, which is good. It helps with the morale, and they truly want to get people back to normal and get this fire under control. Right now we have aircraft that are currently dropping areas throughout the fire. We have 10 helicopters on this situation. We have 4 planes and 1 bird dog, which is the spotter plane. They're using these aircrafts for tactical fire suppression, so that way they can target key areas to help get this fire under control. And they are still using the bigger aircraft to do larger dumps in areas that the fire is more intense. We have 24 DNR firefighters. We have 39 from Ontario, 40 from Quebec, and 60 local firefighters still working on this fire. We do have 30 pieces of heavy machinery that are actively working at pushing the dozer guards and wet water guards through to make the perimeter around the fire to help with it being contained, and will be successful once that is all done to hopefully move to a more controlled fire environment. Currently, it was a bit of a good day story, and we always like that, where today we were able to issue the checks for the financial program from the province of Nova Scotia. So today we're giving out 155 checks, which totals about $413,000. That is being done at the Bridgetown Legion today. It started at 1 o'clock and will go until 7 p.m. And to receive your check, you have to provide a photo ID with a proof of your name and civic address, as well as we do have the list of people that have applied. So if there's an issue that the check hasn't been issued, we'll be able to confirm that information. As well as if you're unable to make that time, you just need to reach out, and we'll see if we can make arrangements to meet with you in person to deliver this check. So again, it is at the Bridgetown Fire Hall located at 31 Bay Road. We are still in an active fire situation. I know that if you look today, it may not look like that from the valley floor, but I can assure you that they are still fighting fire up there. They are actively working on it, and we're not out of the woods yet. You may be aware from a post, and if you watched our public meeting today, that the state of local emergency has been extended for an additional 7 days. And again, with that, we want to ensure people that this local state of emergency does not mean that when the time comes that you will not be able to return your home. They are two separate things. The call for safety to return to homes and to get tours and different things and be allowed to access the site is under the recommendation of Department of Emergency Management and Department of Natural Resources. So once that is provided, we will work with them to do different staggered approaches. We still urge the public to be vigilant in everything that we're working on because it isn't an ever changing situation. And the weather conditions this weekend are critical. So we all learned from 2 weekends ago that weather plays the big factor versus anything else. So if we continue to have dry and windy weather, that is a bit more problematic for the firefighters on the ground. So we were fortunate to have some rain today, which helped slow the fire um, uh, burning up quickly. So it allowed the teams to get in sooner to start combating the fire. Um, I believe that is all I have right now. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Warden. Do we have any questions? Again, I will ask that you raise your little virtual hand and give your name and the agency you're with. Does anyone have any questions today? Jason?
Jason Malloy for the Annapolis Valley Register. Dustin, what was it like to actually see some rain this morning? I know we didn't get a whole lot, but it's been a while since we've seen any.
So it was definitely nice to see, and I think that's part of the reason we're seeing some higher morale. I know that we need a lot of rain in order for this to help get under control. However, being woken up today and looking out and seeing rain on the ground and actively raining on the fire did help with some of that morale. And it did, of course, help the folks on the ground because if it's wet and the humidity is higher and the wind's not blowing strong, it actually allows the fire fighters more time before the intense fire really builds up. So as we've learned through this process at around mid to late afternoon is really when, excuse me, the fire gets to be the most intense. At nighttime, it kind of lowers down a bit due to the humidity, and then throughout the day, it builds up. That's why on Sunday, 2 Sundays ago, the evacuation happened within the afternoon because we started seeing it really pick up. But to answer your question, yes, we were very happy, and I know a lot of people were, including the people that are on the front lines.
Now, if you have a minute, Dustin, can you explain how many, if you know, how many applications for financial assistance have not been processed yet? And when those checks, once they're approved, will arrive?
So right now, I don't have the actual number. I do know that whoever, because you have to apply weekly, of course, and but there's going to be another print of checks on Monday morning from the province. So we would assume that next week on Tuesday or Wednesday, we'll be having another time for people to come and get their checks. The fact that we've been able to process 155 applications, and my understanding is that was the total number that was received and approved by Wednesday. So if people applied after Wednesday morning, they would be on the next check run. So as long as people continue to apply and be active, means the speedier this process will happen.
Do the applicants receive anything from the province once it's been approved? Like, or how do they know? What's the mechanism for them to know to come pick up a check?
So that's a good question. So the way that the process works is when an applicant applies, it goes through their system, and people are contacted people are contacted by the province if their application is not approved, which usually just means the case that they were not in the evacuated area or there was some type of misinformation put into the system. But that is by email from the province. But what we get is a list of people that are approved, and we contacted all those individuals to tell them when they can come pick up their check and that they were approved. Um, so yesterday and the day before, we started calling people with the list that we got from the province of checks that were printed. So we're personally reaching out to tell people that they can come and pick up their checks. And then we'll continue to work with them if they're unable to pick them up on the designated days and times.
And just one more on the financial assistance. You had mentioned earlier that there might be some possibility of direct deposits. Is there any new information on that?
No. So at this point, there is no decision on that. I know that the province is working with individual banks to get that rectified. Because, of course, with direct deposit, it is a little bit more of a safety risk because you're providing your banking information, and then they just have to update their form. Now, it may be a case where if someone is already getting some sort of payment from the province, that they can have some type of waiver done for that. But at this point, it's just speculation. But the province has assured us that they are continuing to work on that because it has to also be uploaded into their systems. So that may take a little bit of time, but they were successful in working with certain banks to make sure that the 5-day hold was removed. So people at certain banks, if they deposited, they could actually get their full money and nothing would be held back.
Are you all done, Jason?
Yeah, I'm good.
Thank you, Jason. Do we have any other questions? Sheldon, go ahead.
Thank you. I think I'm off mute. Sheldon at MBS Radio. Deputy Warden, this has been a long 3.5 weeks. You have been very accessible. You've been very available, and you've been the public face of this for the Annapolis County municipal government. Give me your best case scenario in the next couple of weeks. What is it that you're hoping to hear? Obviously, we were all waiting for the same thing, but from your role, from your position, what is it that will make you know that the end is close?
So I guess that's quite easy, would be to get the direction and the update from Department of Natural Resources that the fire is under control. Once they list it as out of control, we then know that we have a clear path forward. So once that is done, then we can activate certain other things to get people home. We can look at reentry. I know that our staff has been diligently working for weeks, actually since the beginning. So as soon as people were evacuated, the work to start a reentry plan and different variations of it started at the same time. So I know that once we get word that is under control and contained, then that is a turning point for us. And we can then move forward with other things. But that's what I'm hoping for. It would be great to say that that could come today, tomorrow, next week. But we really don't have a timeline. All I can say is I've been impressed with the professionals on the ground for the past 3.5 weeks, especially the past recent week, that it seems like every day is a bit of a good news story in regards to getting the fire more and more and more under control. And the amount of work being done is phenomenal. So that gives me hope right now that we're getting, to the point within whatever time frame it is to be able to issue that the fire is under control. But as for a timeline, I can't really say.
Thank you. I'll go back to one of the very first questions I asked you. In the days immediately following the start of this fire, there was a lot of discussion about air assets. Obviously, the province, one of its own helicopters, was taken out of service on this call.
Mhm.
At the time, I asked how you felt, and because people were saying we need air bombers, we need fixed wing aircraft to fight these fires. 3 weeks in, where's your head at with that?
My head is at that we have all the resources that is needed to fight this fire. Would I personally be happy if we had additional water bombers in the province to support events like this? I believe we all would be. But however, what I've been shown over the past 3.5 weeks is that we have the true professionals, and they have been phenomenal at getting exactly what they need. Now, we've been fortunate over this time that we can share resources with other places, or sorry, they shared it with us because there's not a huge amount of out of control wildfires within the Maritimes right now. So we can get a lot of the assets. So the fact that up to a couple days ago, we had, almost 20 pieces of aircraft. That is phenomenal. And I'm sure there is at a point when you're dealing with um, the size of the fire that it is, that you can't have that many aircraft in that small area. Even though when you say 85 square kilometers, it seems big. But when you're dealing with fixed wing aircraft and helicopters, that's not a big space. Helicopters, okay, but fixed wing aircraft need a lot of room to turn and maneuver and to make sure that there's no collisions. As well as if you have a lot of aircraft, usually means that you can't have a lot of people on the ground fighting the fire. So whenever there's a place that they're going to be dumping water, whether it's from a helicopter or from a plane, that area has to be evacuated from the people on the ground. So in some ways it slows things down, in some ways it speeds things up. But as of right now, I feel very confident and comfortable in the assets that we have and the fact that we have the most experienced people that are fighting this fire. Um, but it is, we do have to remember that we are not out of this yet. We still have a ways to go. And I understand that as we go through and have these better days, people have a lot of hope, it's phenomenally, which is good. But we all know that fire is unpredictable. So all we need is if we get one bad day of weather, we could lose all the ground that we've been making, which we saw that once before on this fire. So that's why, I feel cautiously optimistic would be the 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 sentence that I would call it.
Glass is half full. Got it. Appreciate that. Have you seen the Black Hawk helicopters in action? I was at Governor's Lake, and we only saw the air taxi or water taxi. We didn't actually see the
Mhm.
I'm just wondering what you thought of how they came to be, how they worked.
Oh, I was definitely impressed. I was fortunate to see them in action. Um, and just the fact of the amount of water that they can pick up in a short period of time, and that they could really use that tactively to fight a certain area. It was just amazing to watch. Um, it would be nice if they were able to get water from the Annapolis River. That way people could see it. However, right now they're getting, because the helicopters can operate in better conditions, they're grabbing it from whatever water sources they can. They even have temporary water sources out there just for the helicopters. And we don't want to lose time of them flying over the mountain into the valley to get water. Um, but yeah, I from seeing them in action, it is just phenomenal, and that also helps me know that we have the right gear. Um, you know, yeah, I was very pleased. The only aircraft I haven't seen yet in action is the Sikorsky Sea King modified one, but my understanding is it's the same type of setup as the Sea King, as the Blackhawks.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Sheldon. Jason, you had another question?
Yes, please. Um, school went back in there the other day. Was there any issues, any hiccups with the evacuation?
So, from my understanding, we never received any issues or reports of an issue with that. It went extremely smooth. We worked very closely with our partners at the Department of Education and the Regional Center of Excellence, as well as our navigator, Jason Gillis. We all worked in hand not Jason's work, Jonathan Gillis, to make sure this was transition as smooth as possible. So they were able to adjust bus routes. We were able to work out how they're going to turn around at the barricades, because the main goal was to ensure that the children could go to school and have as least stress as possible, and give them some sign of normalcy. So I know if that from the reports that I got from my kids that go to the same school is that everyone was happy to be all together again. I know that both my daughters had kids that were evacuated, and the spirit seemed high.
Like you say, you represent one of those Bridgetown area districts in the municipality. There's a lot of things happening in Bridgetown, sort of a bit of an epicenter for everything that's happening. What are you hearing as you walk around town, you visit some of those places?
Well, I get a mix of questions, various different questions. So, we have a lot of people that want to know more information, which of course is a natural request. But we have been sharing as much information as we have. Um, we've been very good, I feel, at providing information as much as possible. And we also rely on Department of Natural Resources to give us the information to provide. We're trying our best to make sure that every piece of information that's available can be sent out. But overall, I'm seeing and hearing just amount of positivity, and how the fact that we're coming together. It's nice to hear that there's having rotating of volunteers at the Legion, at the curling club. People are really stepping up. But people are getting tired. We're seeing the fatigue in the community. We're seeing the fatigue within the municipality. We're seeing the fatigue just in the general community. But people are still keeping their spirits up. I know that, at this point, people, we are hearing comments of people saying, well, is the fire out, or we heard the fire's out, or we don't see much smoke anymore. Why are we not allowed to go back? And, it's hard to sit down and explain to people sometimes that we are still in the thick of this. There is still fires happening up there. There was even situations where on one flank of it that they had to remove the crews temporarily because in one area the fire flared up a bit. So the crew had to come out temporarily to then go back in because of the wind. But I can assure people that the fire is still very active, and it will continue to do so for quite some time. And even Department of Natural Resources, say that this is going to take months to have completely out, and a lot of times Mother Nature is the one that finishes it off. But all we can hope at this point is that we can get to a point of under control. And as soon as that happens, we will move tactfully and swiftly to make sure we can get things back to normal. But we are also working with people to say it's going to take a while to get to normal. These areas that have damage or loss are not going to look the same as when they were there last. They won't, and it's going to take a long time to potentially deal with that. We also know that we're going to continue to work with people that have lost or damaged property, because it's one thing to have the information and have a photo of their loss. But once people get on the ground and we have the ability to provide tours or what have you for people to see their homes, that's really when the healing is going to start and the real emotion is going to come up. We all know that when you see a picture is one thing, but when you see it in person is totally different. So we're committed to continue to work with people, whether it's providing some type of resource or a partnership with the Salvation Army on counseling, and the different partnerships we have. We just want to make people aware that we're in it for the long haul. We're here to support you until most likely you don't want to hear from us again. But we are committed, and we will continue to be so until we are at the final end of this. But I have to ensure people that we're not out of the woods yet. But having these days, and if we continue to have these positive days of great advancement, the day will come quicker than if we don't. So I just ask people to please be patient with us, and please understand that everyone is doing the best to their ability. Department of Natural Resources and Emergency Management, and the people we have in the sky, people we have fighting the fire on the ground, they are the true professionals, and they are working to the best of their ability to get you home. We're not doing anything purposely to keep you from your home. It's not a safe environment. And, we really want to see people in their homes. And the other thing that we're hearing is, there's different contractors up there doing work. How come we can't? And it's the same answer of, some of these contractors that are up there doing the work this is what they do for a living. So Nova Scotia Power, they're the ones that go out in the snowstorms and the blizzards and the hurricanes, when everyone else is huddled inside or doing things. They're the ones that deal with these emergency situations and know how to handle it the best. There is some areas that Nova Scotia Power has not been able to get into because it's unsafe. But the reason people aren't allowed home right now is because it is still unsafe, it is still on fire, and it is not under control. But as we go through this together, we will work to get you back home. That was probably a super long answer, Jason.
It was wonderful, sir. I want to say that you're about 3-4 years into your municipal career. What's it been like to see the municipal staff respond to this emergency that none of us wanted to see happen?
That's a great question, Jason. I guess I could sum it up into amazed. A lot of people, including myself as a counselor, and deputy warden, do not see day to day what all of our employees at the municipality do. But since this event, unfortunately, I've been able to work closely with everyone and see what they can do. And everything we can do is phenomenal. We have the right staff in the right places, and they truly are stepping up to the plate. We're in a very unique situation where, myself and the warden, we've only been in that role since November. We have new counselors, 7 new elected ones that started in November. So there's a lot of freshness, as well as we have an interim CAO. We're very fortunate that that individual has been with the municipality for a substantial amount of time and knows how things work. And she's providing phenomenal leadership to the municipal staff. And the fact that we continue to hire good people just gives me just a lot of faith in what we have and what we can do. And not just within this situation, it shows that we can come together and accomplish really anything that we're dealing with. And then, even when we went through the process and hired the navigator position, the fact that we hired someone that truly knows that area, we hired the right person. So I am nothing short of amazed and proud of the council and the municipality that we have. And I look forward to working with everyone for as long as I can. And, they amaze me every day. I'll share a story today, actually. So we sent out letters to the individuals that are also getting the checks. We felt it's very important that the warden and I continue to have that personal touch with people. So we drafted up a letter just for the evacuees. And I was going to help with it. And we were going to send out 100 and some of these envelopes. And I got ready to sit and fold these things and put them in envelopes when a member mentioned, well, I think we have a machine. And then the admin team really stood up and said, oh, no, we can deal with this. And then showed me all the different machines. It might have seemed very small, but to me, it was huge. The fact that, we could all come together even over the smallest thing. It might seem very minute, but I have all the faith that we have the best staff and we can adapt and work through this and continue to support our people. And hopefully when this is all said and done, we can all look back and say, we did it. And hopefully the community will feel that they were supported and feel that we did the right things. Are there lessons learned? Of course. And as we face challenges, we take a line from the Department of Natural Resources and we pivot, and then we adapt and overcome from that. So, so these are some very interesting questions today, deep diving. It must be a very heartfelt day.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jason. Do we have any more questions? It looks like that is it. I want to thank everyone for joining us. Again, just a quick reminder, we're going to be having our pressers on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and then we will reevaluate and see how that goes next week. I'm so glad you were able to join us, and I'm even more glad that the news was good. We always want to hear good news. So everyone, take care this weekend and stay safe, and we will see you on Monday.